The Rat Palace Library was a quiet, sacred space, one of the few untouched areas in the city where the evil rat family's influence hadn't seeped in. Shelves lined with ancient scrolls, rat battle scripts, and books of lost knowledge stretched into the distance. Anonimiz Cherry had spent hours here before, seeking wisdom to refine his chai. But today, something felt different. A faint glow flickered at the end of an aisle, almost like a candle burning behind a book. Drawn by an unexplainable pull, he stepped forward, his fingers grazing the spines of worn texts. Then he saw it, an old black and green leather-bound book, the title embossed in faded gold ink. The Art of Kurlanduni, the Serpent's Path to Power. Anonimiz traced the letters, the name unfamiliar yet somehow resonating deep within his core. He pulled the book from the shelf, and the moment he did, a rush of energy coursed through him, his fingertips tingling as if the pages themselves were alive. He sat on the floor, flipping through its brittle pages. Diagrams of snakes coiling through auras, chakras bathed in green and blue flames, and warriors wrapped in shifting energy filled the first few chapters. His breath hitched as he read the introduction. The path of Kurlanduni energy is hidden in the lowest chakras. Those who dare unlock the venom of the serpent must first embrace their own darkness before they can transform it into power. His eyes darted to an illustration of a warrior surrounded by a greenish-blue aura mirroring his own snake chi. But something stood out, a deeper layer within the energy. A venomous form coiled at the very foundation of the body's energy system. Venom form. He murmured, his fingers tightening around the book. A low hum filled the air, and suddenly his surroundings faded. The library blurred into an abyss of swirling darkness. He wasn't reading anymore. He was inside the lesson. Anonimiz stood on a vast, crimson-colored battlefield, the air thick with a serpentine mist. Before you harness the venom, you must face what is buried beneath. The ground beneath him cracked, and from the fissures, shadowy figures emerged, distorted versions of himself, one with rage in his eyes, another with crippling fear, a third drowning in self-doubt. Each one radiated an aura so suffocating it threatened to crush his spirit before a single blow was thrown. This wasn't just a test of strength. It was a battle against the old versions of himself, the versions that held him back. The first specter lunged, the one with rage. its fists crackling with fiery energy. Anonimiz barely dodged, but as he countered with a strike, the shadow absorbed the hit, grinning. It growled, "You fuel me," its voice a distortion of his own. Anonymous gritted his teeth. He wasn't just fighting his past, he was feeding it. The realization struck like a bolt of lightning. His power alone wouldn't win this fight. He had to shift his entire approach. He slowed his breathing. The venom energy wasn't about attacking, it was about coiling, waiting, striking only when necessary. He let the rage-filled specter swing wildly, exhausting itself. Then with serpentine precision, he sidestepped, placed 2 fingers on its chest, and exhaled. A pulse of greenish blue energy rippled from his touch. 1 down. The second shadow, crippling fear, began whispering in his ear, "You aren't ready for this. You'll never master your chi. You should just stay the same." The whispers crept into his mind, twisting his thoughts. His body felt paralyzed until he remembered the lesson. The snake does not deny the darkness. It embraces it, then transforms it. Instead of fighting the whispers, Anonymous let them pass through him. Like the wind slipping between branches. He didn't resist. He didn't fight. He simply accepted. And just like that, the fear specter crumbled into dust. And just like that, the fear specter crumbled into dust. Only one remained. Self-doubt. This one didn't attack. It simply stood there, staring at him, a perfect mirror, with the same stance, the same weary eyes. Anonymous clenched his fists. The final trial wasn't about fighting. It was about choosing who he wanted to be. Slowly, he unclenched his fists, standing tall. His greenish-blue aura flared, but this time, it didn't waver. The specter began to flicker, fading into the mist as a new energy awakened within him. Snake venom formed, unlocked. This is only the first step. The lowest chakra holds your foundation, but the venom will evolve as you rise. The battlefield faded, and with a sharp inhale, Anonimiz was back in the Rat Palace library, the book still in his hands, glowing slightly. He had only unlocked 1 chakra, and already the power was unlike anything he had felt before. He exhaled. If this was just the beginning, the path ahead would be unlike anything he had ever known. But he was ready. The serpent had awakened. Anonymous, Cherry, stood at the entrance of the time chamber, the energy of the divine source humming in the air like a silent pulse. The moment he stepped inside, the atmosphere shifted. It was as if reality itself had been stripped away, leaving only an endless expanse of white stretching in every direction. But he wasn't alone. As soon as the chamber sealed behind him, a deep, resonant voice echoed in his mind. You seek mastery, but do you understand the weight of your own venom? The ground beneath him cracked, and in an instant, the empty white void transformed. A surreal battlefield formed, the landscape shifting between floating stone platforms, rushing waterfalls of golden energy, and shadow reflections of himself moving in the distance. Anonimiz exhaled slowly, his aura flickering between purple and greenish blue. His new snake venom form, still raw, but coursing with potential. The air trembled, and from the shifting horizon, a serpentine figure emerged. It wasn't a person. It wasn't a beast. It was energy itself, a massive, coiling, spectral serpent, its eyes glowing with an unnatural golden light. The serpent's voice was neither kind nor cruel. It was a test, a challenge woven into words. Anonymiz's hands curled into fists. The chamber was responding to his growth, shaping his trials based on what he needed to master. The serpent struck without warning, its massive body moving with a fluid, unnatural speed. Anonimiz barely dodged, feeling the rush of wind as the attack barely missed his shoulder. He flipped backward onto one of the floating platforms, his eyes locked onto the beast. "All right," he muttered, feeling the venomous energy coil through his limbs. "Let's see what you got." The serpent lunged again, this time splitting into multiple forms, each one striking from a different angle. Anonymiz's instincts screamed at him to block, but something inside told him, "Don't react, feel." He closed his eyes for just a second, trusting the energy, feeling the shift in the air. And when he reopened them, time itself seemed to slow. The serpent's movements became clear, their trajectories visible like echoes before they even struck. The venom wasn't just power, it was foresight, precision, a knowing. With a sudden burst of speed, Anonimiz weaved between the attacks, his body flowing like water, striking only when necessary. Each time he landed a blow, the spectral serpents shattered like illusions, until only one remained, the true entity. It watched him now, uncoiling, its golden gaze locking onto him with newfound recognition. Spectral serpent, you are beginning to understand. But tell me, what is the true nature of poison? Anonymous hesitated. His energy flickered. Poison. It could be a weapon, a killer, but it could also be a cure. a force that weakens an enemy, but if controlled, it could strengthen the right hands. Slowly, his own aura pulsed, the venom energy shifting, not just coiling but adapting. He raised his hands, not in attack but in acceptance. Anonimiz cherry. Venom is choice. A pause. The serpent's form glowed, then dissolved into pure energy, rushing toward him like a tidal wave. Anonimiz braced himself, but as the energy collided with his body, he didn't feel pain. He felt clarity, balance, understanding. His snake venom form had evolved. The golden waterfalls around him pulsed, as if the time chamber itself had acknowledged his growth. You are ready for the next step. Anonimiz stepped out of the time chamber, his mind still adjusting to reality. What had felt like years of battle and training had only been a single minute outside. He clenched his fist, feeling the shift in his energy. His snake chi was stronger, more controlled. He hadn't just gained power, he had gained understanding. And this was only the first venom chakra. He glanced back at the time chamber's entrance, knowing there were many more trials ahead, but he was ready. The next step on his journey awaited.